It finally happened! The Valve Deckard is born and its name is Steamframe. Honestly, this is just kind of a time capsule of the absolute beautiful rage bait that was the Valve Deckard subreddit. It started off with people shitposting, followed by people who have an abundance of hope, followed up by the meeting of that hope with the glorious launch, and then the soul-crushing reality that it was, yeah, a lot of the missing hype things were gone, but hey, we're still excited. But also the Reddit has devolved into like various factions of people who are really hyped, people who are not so hyped, people who wanted something entirely different, all that stuff. You can't make everyone happy. I guess I could run through some of the specs, even though I'm sure you've heard them to death. The fabled Valve Deckard, now named Steamframe, is coming in with brand new controllers that are of course optimized for flat screen gaming along with VR. The headset is looking really, really light and by far the comfiest headset that I've seen, as well as the overall design to me is absolutely sick. I love the minimalism. I don't want any craziness. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and Valve is kind of showing their understanding of weight distribution and everything. The comfort factor looks awesome, and we're even coming in with some pretty interesting tech. Valve not really leveraging foveated rendering in the way that we're used to, instead optimizing something called foveated streaming, which apparently fixes some of the bottlenecks and limitations that are introduced when trying to stream your VR experience to a headset to a PC and vice versa. Also, there was some other stuff released, probably not talking about it. I'm probably gonna buy the controller side thing. Anyways, and the foveated streaming is basically a plea for wireless. I should have probably mentioned that at the top. Come with a dongle, you plop it in, and it's good. And apparently a lot of the people that actually experienced this recorded no latency or pixelization or catching the blur or the not rendered pixels, things like that, which is really, really cool. Seems like we're going into the era of cordless. Also, some subliminal features, which are pretty neat, is there's a lot of like sensors all over the controllers and the headset and everything. So it seems like it's really, really hard to lose track of the controllers, which often happens to me a lot when I'm using my Quest 2. Oh yeah, and the main selling feature. Right, this is a PC. This is a standalone PC able to run games. Now, it might have to be optimized, kind of like the Steam Deck games, all that. But yeah, largely you're caught up to speed. Now to get into the core of what this video is, which is me basically saying this. This is how I ultimately feel about all of this. This is the perfect headset if it had better displays. I'm sorry I fall into this camp. I apologize. I'm excited too. All right, calm down. But we couldn't have done 3K. Like, at least we're in the fight. You know what I mean? We're like in the new baseline. Boom. But the 2K, I know some people like the refresh rate, but man, I think it was just the other day, the Samsung's Galaxy VR headset, I thought you could push it to 120 refresh rate on that with 4K OLED displays. And if not mistaken, I think there's also something like that with the upgraded Vision Pro, which I think is also able to push it to 140, given its 2 chipset usage and stuff like that. Now, granted, this is the difference between like a $4,000 to $2,000 headset, but this is a thing that's kind of leaving everyone, I think, in the dark. And I think this is kind of one of the fundamental issues with this whole thing. Nobody knows the price. If we knew the price, we could know what they're targeting. We could understand, okay, this is what they're kind of aiming for. But unfortunately, and I imagine it's due to the tariffs and all these weird things happening in our environment and our economy right now, that makes giving a price a little bit harder. It also could just be Valve trying to test the waters and seeing how much of a loss they might have to sell this thing for. But largely, the Valve Deckard subreddits has been speculating anywhere from like 600 to 800. Now, I wanted to talk to you guys about the pricing to me because I think it makes a lot of sense and it's kind of makes everything kind of feel weird or really logical. So if they sell this thing for $600, to me, that makes a lot of sense and actually kind of can be in some way competitive to the Quest 3. I don't think people can deny that a lot of the features that they're showing off seem really, really compelling and interesting. And I think people would be willing to spend $100 to $200 more for some of those ideal features, if not just to be out of the hellish, sometimes Oculus MetaQuest ecosystem. But with that being said, if it is like $800 more, I don't know if people are willing to buy some of these features for $400 more, if you know what I mean. Especially when there's some things kind of missing. Like one of the things I didn't mention is that there's actually no like pass-through that is of really good quality and of color. It's all black and white, similar to what we're used to on the Quest 2, or what I'm used to on the Quest 2. But actually, this is one of like the debuffs or negatives that I didn't exactly agree with, because I actually really like what Valve is doing here. They mentioned that they're actually in the process, possibly of considering yada yada yada, putting a sensor in one of the sensor ports that they've actually added to give people the ability to add other features, assumingly like face tracking and things like that. But also, you could put a pass-through sensor in there that would give color to the pass-through and maybe even increase the quality of the pass-through. Who knows? But But I like that idea because you're not having to pay for something that you may not actually want. Instead, you could upgrade later down the line if that's something that maybe interests you, right? If you see an application of like a Steam game that has you playing in pass-through, then maybe you'd be like, oh, okay, I want to get that feature now and upgrade. Like, to me, that's a really nice sentiment of upgrading and eventually getting what you want out of it. But here brings me to the kind of main agony point for me, which is this product was so close to being absolutely perfect for me. It was so close to being like a new baseline for VR. Like, hey, 3K, not 4K because we want premium to still exist, but 3K, new baseline, a new reason for you to get into this, enough clarity and sharpness for you to read text and to just fully take this all in. But 2K for it, man. Oh. And the thing that kills me is if this does come in at a price tag of, let's say, $600, which would be extraordinarily competitive. Hell, even if it comes in at $800, to me, I'll always have that looming thought in my head because we know it's not going to be any more than $1,000 because they've actually won a record saying they're aiming for less than the full package of the Valve Index, which is around $1,000. But whatever the price ends up being, in the back of my head, I'm going to be thinking, man, how much more do I need to pay for some better displays? Like, is it $200 more, like the actual price tag that we originally thought it was going to be, which is $1,200? Or is it going to be $1,400? Man, I feel like there's a lot of people who would rather buy once and cry once than what it feels like it's going to be. And this is kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I think everybody is having the same feeling of this seems like Valve's playbook for the Steam Deck, where essentially they release it as a really competitive price of pretty low and honestly acting at a loss. And then within a couple years or whatever, they will release a much, much better version of that. Now, why this to me, I think lines up more than anything, and I haven't really heard people mentioning this, is one of the things I picked up on when we were learning a ton of stuff about the Valve Deckard in the past and Steam and Valve and their movings was they actually were investing in buying up various companies that seemed like they had to do with micro OLED. And also with the success of various other headsets that are also using micro OLED, I think it's fair to say that the prices of micro OLED in the coming years will drastically drop. At least I would think. And I think Valve is kind of playing that game. Like, I think if you even think about it on a time horizon of 1 or 2 years, do you think the micro OLED displays will actually drop in price and then they can give an even more compelling offer? Because the difference between a Steam Deck with no micro OLED and the Steam Deck with micro OLED is like a difference of about a couple $100. And again, if that is the difference between this headset and a quote-unquote premium headset, I think a lot of people would be willing to spend like $200 to $300 to just buy once and cry once and then that's it, without this idea of I'm going to pay for this headset and then in a year or two, I'm going to have to upgrade again. Kill me. The only saving grace is that the Steam products tend to have decent resale value. That's a fucking, I don't want to deal with the headache, man, of selling shit on eBay. I hate it. Anyways, so I think that makes logical sense. And I think that's like the angle that they're trying to wait for. But it just, man, my stupid, dumb dream, man, is that like they're going to see so many people be like, dude, we're willing to pay some money for better lenses, and by the time it launches next year, they're gonna be like, guess what, you motherfuckers, we're doing 2, we're doing an entry level and we're doing another one, and you don't have to wait a fucking 2-year situation happening. Also, side thing, some people might be saying, well, actually, it's a lot harder and complex to swap in and out these lenses. Well, on the Adam Savage YouTube channel, the gentleman who does the tech reviews for Adam Savage, I believe, he ended up doing an interview with the devs, and they actually talked about, or he actually brought up a really, really interesting question. And he basically asked them, with the quality of the displays being a factor, what is the 2K displays going to be in like 5 years? Because Valve took such a long time to make a follow-up to their previous VR headset. And the response, now that we have this form factor, whereas in the previous VR headset that we made, we didn't, we wanted and we aspired to have it have certain things, but we couldn't reach those aspirations. Now this headset now is a lot more modular and a lot more like a good baseline for us to eventually build off of and do stuff with. So it seemed like they were open to that idea of you're not going to have to wait another 8 years or 7 years or whatever it ends up being to get another VR headset. Now, even if it's like 2 years, the whole VR space is moving really, really fast. And with Meta's supposed competitor to all of the competition coming out in the next year, that's likely going to have eye tracking and a gambit of other things. I don't know. I feel like, if anything, it makes more sense that Meta would come in around $1,200, given they already tried that with the Quest Pro lineup, or around that price tag. So, I don't know. Now, as you can tell, myself, and I'm assuming many others, are in this kind of weird purgatory hell. And the question ultimately amounts to, well, are you going to buy it? GRINN, or Mind, whatever you want. I'm in a very weird space where I am still rocking my Quest 2. And I was really hoping to simply buy once and cry once. But it's looking like I'll need to buy once, put it on the marketplace, and maybe upgrade to the next one. Oh, God, I don't know. Anyways, pain. Yeah, I'm buying this thing. The reason why is because I am just so sick and tired of my Quest 2. Things barely work. I mainly use it as for PC VR, and it is just agony. The amount of times it doesn't just bind or pick up to my fucking PC with the cord, man. Is the cord's corrupted? Is it? I've gone through 3 of these things. I do not know. It is just agonizing how much it just does not work, okay? Anyways, not to mention the lenses are an upgrade for me. I'm rocking a Quest 2 and it's a significant jump. Now, also I don't have any like special, like people talk about, people for years, man, I've been talking about how cool these curved lenses, I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Anyways, for me, this is like, it's an upgrade because I just am living in shit, okay? But if you already have a Quest 3, it's a hard as sell. If it's a $600 upgrade, I feel like that's a little bit easier of a pill to swallow. If it's $800, yikes. That's a big oof. Now, for some people, it'll be like, ooh, Grin, it's $600, that's great. Dude, I'm still having this, it's Canadian. I'm paying, like, it's still basically, for me, if it is 600 and 800, I'm still paying like 1,200. So I'm still eating shit here. Don't get twisted. But yes, the main reasons why I'm actually interested in it, not just besides the idea of it being an overall upgrade for what I'm currently using, is mainly because of the Valve ecosystem. Now, a lot of people don't really know when people just throw that out there and they don't really know what it means. But largely what I'm referring to is the fact that this is basically a PC on your face. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of cool innovations, various things that you can actually play with and mess with, like being able to like control your cursors with your eyes and have that integrate within your PC and not just be like a weird third-party thing. All those variables to me are like really exciting, and I feel like if there's anyone that could kind of like have that synergy happen where like headsets communicating with your PC and allowing you to access it in different ways, like using your eyes as a cursor for your mouse, I think would be really fun and interesting way to navigate your PC. I'm a little disappointed by this side thing I didn't really mention. I'm disappointed that Valve didn't bring it more with the software. I thought they would really like hit the ground running. Like one of the things I've always hoped for is the idea of being able to play my catalog of games, not just on a flat screen, but with 3D depth mapping, being able to perceive that window as like a realm within it. But with that being said, this is also another reason why I kind of like the open source nature of Valve products, because there is various PC software that has kind of overlays and things that they do to kind of simulate that, but it's not run by Valve. So it's like I could still win. It's just a lot more hoops to jump through to win to get to that end. But at least on PC, I have a chance. And I don't have to constantly bash my head against Meta's weird software nightmare hell stuff. But yes, I know there's a bunch of people out there who are absolutely thrilled with this because of the frame rate increase with the lenses, and also the idea that you're not losing too much FOV. Although weirdly enough, I do believe Sadly It's Bradley did a FOV counter on the Samsung Galaxy X, and he basically showed that it was really comparable to the Valve Index as far as FOV. So if you have an extra $1,000 to throw around, that may be the best option. But I think that's the issue right now with VR, man. We don't really have a good bang for your buck application. And if we do, it's meta, and it seems like they oftentimes take like a loss on things that people do not want them to take a loss on. Like we want eye tracking. We've wanted eye tracking for such a long time. We want better lenses. I don't really care about some of these other variables that you add. Or at the very least, I would like to upgrade them to them if I did want them. Like even the Samsung Galaxy X, whatever it's called, is still $2,000. And it's funny because all I want, hey, Steam, if you're doing this for $600 to $800, awesome. I just want better lenses. I don't think better lenses is going to be the difference of like another $1,000 on this. I don't think. I think it's probably going to be the difference of another $500 on this. And if it's $800 and it pushes us to $400, but I have to buy once and cry once, then at least that's it. I'm over. I'm finished. I don't have to buy it again in a couple years. Anywho, gang, I really appreciate you spending time with me. Let me ramble about all things this. It's been an emotional roller coaster, and honestly, this video was just to calcify that in some regard. Also, I probably will be getting the controller. It looks cool, looks nice. I'm hoping it's within the $80 range, fingers crossed, all that. But ultimately, I'm more curious about what you guys are feeling, because I feel like a lot of you have, or not like me, you guys have the Quest 3. So if it was $600, would you be willing to upgrade for the features that seemingly are really good, the comfort factor, the like better looking controllers, the various kind of like subliminal tweaks, foveated streaming, things like that? Would that be enough to have you upgrade? Would 7 be too much? I feel like 7, some people would still be kind of open to it. 8 is where you start getting to like, why? What? Man, damn. I think it's going to be 8. If I can hedge my bets, I think it's going to be 8. If it's 6, it makes all the sense in the world. This is going to be a competitive product, kills it. 8, it's like, listen, bitch, we still need to make money on this, okay? And then what if it was $120 for the OLED? Dude, I'd bite the bullet, man. I'd have to save a little bit, but I'd bite the bullet. Love you. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Let me know how you feel in the comments down below. Bye.